Welcome back. In our my previous videos, I showed you how to install CentOS 8, and on top of that, I also in an additional video also showed you how to install Plex Media Server. So check those videos out if you haven't done so already, or if you're confused how to install Plex Media Server. Let me go ahead and make my font a little bit bigger so it's easier to read. So in this video, I'm just going to show you real quick. So one of the common problems I had when I installed Plex Media Server is over the course of time, I ran out of space on the var mount point, whether it was under root or its own mount point. So there is a solution to that, and you can indeed, in fact, override the default location for where Plex Media Server stores the metadata, and the default location for that is in so this is our default location, and this is where Plex is going to put all of its files, and the cache directory is typically going to be where most of your previews, and that's going to be with basically the bigger directory under the for the Plex Media Server, as far as where it's doing the caching stuff. Your libraries are of course going to be in a different location depending on where they're actually physically located on your server. So there's a workaround in case you do run out of space. In my case, I have plenty of space, but I'm going to show you a potential solution, and that potential solution is to either, there's a couple options. You can use an external or use a second drive. You can create a mount point and put them on there. In my case, since I have space in my home directory, or if you have space as well, you could move your files there and free up a little bit of space for your var mount point if you're running out of space and it's causing issues for you. So the first thing you need to do to make this get started is you need to stop the Plex Media Server service. To do that, you type systemctl stop Plex Media Server, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to make a directory in etc systemd system, we're going to make a directory called plex server.service.d. Alright, so inside of that directory, we're going to make a file called override.conf. Now, there's a couple ways you can do this. You can type vi/ and you can do it like that, or there's also another option. You can do it with systemctl. And so what this will do is it will create a override file that will override the default package settings. Now, what you need to do to that file is you have to add this override environment variable, which is going to be right here. This is going to tell Plex Server where to look for its home, basically where it's going to look. So we'll go ahead and add this information here to the override file. So now that that's been added, we need to go to the Plex, or we need to go to the home directory and create a folder for the Plex user. And as you can see, we don't have a directory for the Plex user. And now we've created a directory for the Plex user. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to make a directory called Plex Data. And basically this is where we're going to relocate those folders that I earlier showed you. So we're going to make a copy of this Plex Media Server directory. We're going to put it in home Plex Data. And the -R is for recursive, so that will copy every directory and file underneath of the Plex Media Server directory. Alright, so then the next thing we need to do is we need to make sure that the Plex user has permissions to all those files and directories in its home directory. Otherwise, the Plex Media Server will not start. And as you can see, the Plex Data directory belongs to root. And that also belongs to root. And those also belong to root. So we're going to go ahead and change the owner and the group to be the Plex user and the Plex group. To do that, you type chmod change own -r. And basically that will make the Plex user and the Plex group the owner and the group that owns all those files and directories in the Plex, or in the home directory of the Plex user. Alright, so then the next one we need to do is we need to tell systemd that we made a change. So you need to type systemctl daemon reload, and then now we can start the Plex Media Server. But before we do that, we're going to go ahead and rename this Plex Media Server directory. So that basically won't look there, or I can show that it is not looking there. And then we're going to go ahead and start it. And then I'll just show you. Alright, so then as you can see, it is running. And then right here, as you can see, is the override file that we created earlier, which exists in the etc system, and then Plex Media service.d. So it exists basically under there. And as you can see, it started. And it didn't create another directory, which it would by default if one didn't exist here. It would create another directory called Plex Media Server. And so that now that it's started, we can go ahead and remove this directory. Because it's no longer needed. And just to show you real quick, we'll go ahead and restart it. And it didn't recreate. So that is it for this video. Hope you enjoyed, and leave your comments below and like and subscribe. Thank you and for watching.